Hi, a film that I've been meaning to watch for some time that released on Netflix nearly a year ago is Dan Gilroy's Velvet Buzzsaw. I was very impressed by Gilroy's previous film, Nightcrawler, about tabloid television news. So I was really looking forward to his new film. And going in, even though it came out a year ago, I actually knew very little about it. I knew that it was set in the contemporary world of art in America, and that it was in some way some sort of horror story or supernatural story. And also that it saw the return from Nightcrawler of Jake Gyllenhaal and Rene Russo, playing different characters. But I was quite disappointed by just how prosaic it wound up being. It's the story of an artist who is found dead, and one of his neighbours happens to be the assistant to a very prestigious gallery owner. She discovers his art, which is hundreds and hundreds of canvases, and this is taken on as being this new outsider discovery. But it turns out that the artist had an appallingly troubled life. He'd spent time in a mental hospital, and there is perhaps something in his paintings which could be damaging to others. And we also see this gallery of characters within the modern art world: a critic, a museum curator, a dealer, and her up-and-coming assistant and buyer, all of whom are, to varying degrees, incredibly venal, selfish, self-centered characters, interested only in the value of art rather than in the inherent beauty or statement or effect that the art itself might achieve. So the film is ultimately split twofold. On the one hand, you have a satire about the art world and about how it's the art business is a business. It's about commerce. It's not about appreciating the work and the love of the beauty or the brilliance of the work itself. It's all about what's it worth, what's its value, what advantages can one get out of being involved with it. And on the other hand, it's a horror movie because everyone who gets involved with the artist's work and tries to exploit it for their own gain, be it commercial or in terms of career or prestige, in turn is killed in a way that is defined by their own attitude to the art. So someone who's dismissive of graffiti winds up becoming graffiti. Someone who's dismissive of a robotic piece of concept art winds up being having their neck broken by the robot. So the problem is that one side is a very rote, fairly toothless bit of satire on the art world, and the other is a fairly rote, toothless horror movie. So you've got two uninteresting movies for the price of one, which is a shame because it has an amazing cast. You have Rene Russo, Jake Gyllenhaal, Zoe Ashton, Toni Collette, David Diggs, more than a cameo but less than a supporting role for John Malkovitch. It looks absolutely fantastic, and the performances are very, very fine. But it's just there's not enough there. It's two two-star movies that don't make a four-star movie. They make a two-star movie because there's only half a movie between them. I found it ultimately very disappointing. There is a satisfying coda at the end where the artist's works are thrown out and found by homeless people who wind up just selling them on the street. And we see a young couple seeing one of these artworks and saying, "Oh, this is really beautiful. How much?" The homeless man says, $5. Okay, they're buying it not because of its perceived value or because of trying to get some sort of advantage for themselves through the art. They're buying it because they like it, because they think it's beautiful. And the money is going to a homeless man who needs it for food and shelter, which is what the artist would originally want. Which is a satisfying ending dramatically, but when the film is this thin and this meagre, I think it's really the least you should ask for.